Hello, and thank you for joining me today for Making a Major Decision, a session on exploring engineering majors at UW-Madison, and also looking at how majors apply to career fields. So once you've made that major decision, some of the applications to the world of work. First, I'd like to just sort of stress that you are the individual who can make these decisions. So you have to do the homework, the legwork to find out what is the best major for you, where your interests lie, what career fields you think would be most interesting to pursue and work in after you complete your degree. So you do need to be an active participant in this process. Nobody can make the decisions for you. You have to go out and talk to professionals working in the field, do some research, reading, watching videos to try and find out which major is going to be best for you, which majors are offered at UW-Madison in accordance with your interests, and also any potential certificates or second majors that might help you get to the field that you are interested in pursuing after graduation. Okay, so we'd like to start by just having you think for a minute about the type of learner that you are. Do you prefer to listen? Do you prefer to read? Or do you prefer to do hands-on applied learning? We'll give you a few examples here for each of these types of learning so that you can look at what works best for you. Probably a combination of these approaches will be the best way to gather information and make decisions. When you're going through this process, we just like to reiterate the fact that there is a learning pyramid. There are better ways to learn information and retain that information. You want to try and focus on those that are at the bottom of the pyramid. So a lecture like this, unfortunately, is not the greatest way to learn and retain information and apply it to your daily life. As you can see, reading is a little bit better. Watching videos certainly improves. So the more you get towards hands-on, and then also the ability to teach others or maybe talk to others about what your interests are, the better you're going to retain that information and be able to apply it to some of the decisions that you're going to be making. So we're going to start out with some audio options for you, things that you can listen to in order to gather information. If we were in person, the first thing I would say is, all right, everybody who has ever seen The Big Bang Theory, watched an episode, stand up, please. Generally, everybody in the class pretty much stands up. You know, that was the #1 comedy for a while on television. It certainly is no longer on television on a regular basis, except in reruns. But it is an example of a show that did have information about engineering.
How are two ding-dongs tomorrow gonna help me today? So, this is engineering, huh? I'll talk to you later. Engineering, where the noble semi-skilled laborers execute the vision of those who think and dream. Hello, Oompa Loompas of science.
Okay, obviously a show designed to elicit laughter. It's a comedy, so maybe not the best example, and certainly a little bit of a dig on engineers in that clip. But there are TV shows out there that can be good at creating interest in professions. You may recall at some point down the road, CSI, Crime Scene Investigators, was a new hot TV show. And around the country, all of a sudden, educational programs started popping up at universities and at tech schools about how to be a crime scene investigator because television made it look so interesting. So a lot of people thought, I want to do that. And so television does drive some industries. We haven't had a great engineering TV show yet. Maybe that's something that you could work on once you get your degree and you're out in industry. Maybe you can kind of have some influence and create a TV show. But there are some TV shows that are better, you know, like How Things Are Made. That was a cable TV show that really talked a lot about engineering type things. So you can gather some information that is out there. YouTube, I'm sure you all watch YouTube videos. That can be another a powerful resource to help you gather information about engineering professions and how the major and the profession relate.
Power. We use it every day. But have you ever thought about where it comes from? Electrical, steam, compressed gases, and refrigeration are blending to support the industrial world and society. It's this power that makes everything possible. We all know it takes power to turn on the lights. But did you realize that the clothes you wear were made by using energy to produce dyes and weave the fabric? The food you eat requires energy to produce, refrigerate, and cook. Even the air that surrounds us is constantly being heated or cooled. Just about everything in our lives is built or affected by energy in one way or another. Without a system of energy production, none of this would be possible. And behind that system, there is a community of professionals that make it so we never need to think about it. Power engineers are the people who...
All right, power engineers. So that's a video on power engineers. It's a pretty long video, so we'll just give you a little taste of that. It's a very highly stylized promotional video that is put out by an association trying to encourage today's students to consider power engineering. Maybe not considered by most students to be that glamorous of a profession, working in power plants and energy generation, but certainly an area where there is high demand for engineers. So they've gone to, to great lengths to put together a very high quality video to encourage you to consider that as a profession. Certainly there's information in there as you watch the video about which majors might be good: mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, industrial engineering, and how those can be applied to the industry. So that could be a really good resource for you. There are certainly a lot of videos on YouTube. Some of them are better than others. The ones usually put together by professional societies or associations, marketing groups, tend to be very good and well done, but you'll find some bad ones out there. The great thing about YouTube is you can quickly click off of it if it seems like it's not that good. And the other great thing about YouTube is it's available 24/7. So if you are studying and you decide you want to take a 20-minute break, you can go watch some videos at 2 in the morning if that's what works for you, or 8 a.m. or whatever time of day, whatever day of the week you want. YouTube is always there for you to check those out whenever you think it's convenient for you. There are certainly a number of podcasts out there done by engineers about engineering. So if you like to just listen while you're on the road, that could be another resource for you as well. There are a lot of lectures generally that happen on campus when we're in person that you can attend. Usually departments or faculty members will promote those to you, but we also have a calendar of events on the UW website, as well as on the College of Engineering website that promote these. They're great opportunities to go listen to engineers who are working in leading edge areas, to hear what they're up to. Certainly can inspire you to do research or find career paths based on the information that they share. They will often kind of correlate what they're studying or had studied to what they're doing in the workforce as well. And you can usually talk to recruiters who attend in conjunction with these presenters, or directly to presenters about opportunities that occur in their organization as well. So it's sort of a networking opportunity for you at those lectures. Talking to faculty is always a good idea. I know it's a little hard right now, given that they have limited office hours, but reaching out to your faculty members to talk to them about their career, about opportunities for work in your area of interest. If you're interested in material science, talking to the material science faculty, a lot of them have been in industry. They see where their graduates go. They know the type of employers that hire. They certainly can talk to you about the curriculum and what's like to study materials and where your interests should lie if you are pursuing a degree in materials science. So certainly taking an opportunity and reaching out to faculty is always a good thing too. Informational interviews may be something you heard about in high school. Informational interviews are where you schedule an interview basically with somebody who is a professional in the field you're interested in exploring. So you can set up a 30 or 45-minute appointment. Maybe it's a Zoom call this day and age, or maybe it is still going to their facility and asking them questions. Why did you decide to be an industrial engineer? Where did you study industrial engineering? What did you like about your studies? What did you think were some of the challenges? Would you encourage somebody today to consider industrial engineering? You ask a bunch of questions, gather information that'll be helpful for you as you're exploring your major, trying to make up your mind what is a good fit for you educationally, and that also ties into your career goals. Okay, so informational interviews are a great opportunity to really gather information from working professionals who are applying what they learned in a course and in a classroom to the professional world. Job shadowing is a somewhat similar approach. You reach out to employers, professionals to do this too, but it's a little bit more intensive. It's usually like a half day where you follow an engineer around in their workplace, maybe sit in on meetings, look at the projects that they're working on. They are certainly more time intensive. They work better for some environments, I think, too, than others. For example, if it's computer engineering, it's not really all that exciting to sit at a computer and watch somebody work all day. But if it's a manufacturing engineer and you get to go walk around the manufacturing floor or see how products are made, see the projects they're working on, that may be a little bit more of a beneficial learning environment to be in. So, you know, it just sort of varies what works best for job shadows, but those are other opportunities you should consider as well. And if you're interested in informational interviews or job shadows, Engineering Career Services can certainly help you make connections with alumni to pursue those opportunities. In terms of some visual opportunities to gather information, we'll talk about a few key examples here that we have for you. The first is the Occupational Outlook Handbook that is put together by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is part of the Department of Labor. They go out and survey employers, gather information, and create these reports about what the job outlook is, what it takes to work in the field. So the example we have up here is a materials engineer. It talks about typical education, typical salary, what the workforce looks like in the next few years. Will there be more demand for materials engineers or not? Obviously, this can tend to be a little bit dated information. It's not done every year. So you want to just kind of check out and use this as part of that decision-making process. And there's usually additional resources that are included as well. These are available in book form as well as online. So you could just do a search for Occupational Outlook Handbook, and then you can investigate the various disciplines that are out there. Looking at job postings. So if you kind of want to know, what does a chemical engineer do in the workforce for either an internship or a full-time job, start reading job postings. So Career Builder, Monster.com, Glassdoor, certainly you have a Handshake account at UW-Madison. Start going to those and looking at the job descriptions. What are the requirements that they look for? Whether they're technical skills, whether it's degree requirements, whether they're looking for a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD, all the requirements, what are the tasks, what are the responsibilities. So you can learn a lot from current job descriptions. And then you can also kind of target your education towards those job descriptions a little bit by maybe selecting some of your elective coursework that will help you develop some skills in those areas. Using LinkedIn, we have a LinkedIn group that is available for you to join called Hire a Badger Engineer. I do send occasional emails out about that, so you've probably heard about that. There are a lot of groups out there, so if you have a specific area of interest, you can probably find a group of professionals out there. So search the groups and find professionals who are in the area you're interested in pursuing. UW-Madison has several groups for each department, as well as alumni groups, so you can connect with alumni who've graduated from UW-Madison College of Engineering as well. In our LinkedIn group, you'll find alumni, you'll find other students, and you'll also find recruiters and engineers who are hiring from UW-Madison. So it's a great tool for networking. It's a great resource if you want to do those informational interviews to find alumni that you can connect to and ask information on. And there's a lot of job postings that end up getting put on the page as well too. So check out LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your professional equivalent of Facebook. So you do need to get a LinkedIn page eventually. You set up your own profile in there, and then you can connect with other professionals. Using professional associations is certainly another consideration that you want to look at. A lot of your organizations that you're going to find in the College of Engineering have an equivalent professional organization. They do put a lot of time into developing websites that have a lot of good career information, job postings, what can I do with this degree in this area. So you want to check those out as well. This is an example of IEEE, the Institute of Electronic and Electrical Engineers. And so they have a lot of career resources that are available. Most of your disciplines that you're going to consider will have a professional society associated with it, and they'll have a lot of career information that you can find if you just do a quick Google of their website. Okay. Myers-Briggs type indicator is something that you can have done on campus, and we can connect you with that. It's an interest inventory. It talks about where your interests, where your strengths lie, and it can help you correlate where those are in relation to what you want to do professionally. So we can help you make those connections for the Myers-Briggs. You may have heard about that before and taken it in high school. Many organizations use it to look at work groups and how they function well. So that can be helpful information for you as well. Next, we're going to go into the hands-on applied learning. Certainly co-ops, internships, part-time jobs, anything that is engineering related in the world of work is going to be valuable for you to get some hands-on application. So we promote co-ops pretty heavily in engineering career services because that is an 8-month work experience as an engineer. So it's really valuable to get that immersion into the profession. Employers love to see that on your resume. Summer internships are those brief 3-month assignments where you're working as part of an engineering team as well. There are a lot of part-time jobs, especially in the Madison area, where you can work for an engineering organization part-time, 10, 15 hours a week. Some of those also will exist on campus, so you want to check those out. Getting involved in student organizations. All right, so we have over 50 student organizations in the College of Engineering. That's our concrete canoe team in competition there. There's Steel Bridge, there's automotive teams, there's a lot of opportunities to really do some hands-on work in those competition teams. So you might want to investigate those. It's a great way to get some professional experience and exposure, because most of those competition teams take members to their regional and national competitions where there are professionals and organizations there who are making recruiting contacts as well. So it's a great way to see how you apply what you've learned in the classroom, how your major applies to a real world project like a steel bridge. So that can be an extremely valuable opportunity for you as well to make some professional connections, see that hands-on application of the degree area to one aspect of the workforce. Also looking at research opportunities available on campus. So research is something you should certainly consider exploring if you're thinking about going to graduate school. But regardless, research experiences can be really valuable to exploration of your degree area, your major. So research experiences can be sort of volunteer, unpaid. They can be for academic credit. They could be paid, or, you know, varying semesters. It may kind of vacillate between all three of those. So there are opportunities that you should consider pursuing. This is just a brief article about an individual who participated in a research experience on campus. There's also summer research experiences that occur around the nation at other campuses, so you can do some research to find out about those opportunities. But they are great opportunities to really get some, again, hands-on application, make connections with faculty and members of the department at UW-Madison as well. And, you know, generally are a little bit flexible around your class schedule. So you can do it when it is kind of convenient around your coursework in conjunctions with the needs of the researcher. Okay, looking at other opportunities around your community can also be valuable, like Habitat for Humanity. Maybe in your hometown you've gotten involved, you're looking at civil engineering. That could be a great opportunity to do some hands-on construction work to see what that environment is like as well. Mission trips, certainly during semester breaks, there are some of those that happen around campus. There's lots of opportunities for you to get involved and do these sort of hands-on experiences. Okay, so that has given you a variety of opportunities or ways in which to explore majors and also see how those apply to career fields. Because I know most of you are probably sitting there right now thinking, I am definitely going to be a biomedical engineer. And you're in your first semester, your first year. Often what you come into an institution or UW-Madison thinking is your major can change as you start to take some of your coursework. You may decide, well, actually, I'm not as interested in this area as I thought when I was in high school. So you can use this information as you make these decisions going forward that maybe you want to reconsider your major. Certainly, if you have questions, reach out to Engineering Career Services at any time, and we're happy to discuss career paths and major possibilities with you as well as your academic advisor. But the real takeaway I want you, that 5% that I want you to take away from today's presentation, really is about the importance of major in relation to your career interests and pursuits. And that is of very little importance, okay? It's not as big of a deal as you may be thinking it is right now. What is more important is skill acquisition, the experiences that you've had through co-ops, internships, student organizations, and where you've developed a passion for work. Major gets you so far, but in this day and age, most employers are looking for interdisciplinary teams. They realize that they need mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, industrial engineers, material engineers, nuclear engineers, all different engineers on their teams. So you can be a mechanical engineer and go work for medical device industry. You don't have to be a biomedical engineer, right? So there is a lot of interdisciplinary opportunities. Major is not critical to your ability to do work in a specific field. It does have some general applications, but generally most employers are open and they look at what skills you've gained and what experiences you've had, and that can make a determining factor of whether or not you get employed in a certain area. So keep that in mind. While major is important, it is not critical to your success in the workplace. The other thing to keep in mind is that you should do your best in your undergraduate career. There's a big investment you're putting into this bachelor's degree. And so, I think if you study what you love, if you find a major that is really of interest to you and you have passion for it, you'll do better academically. And that will mean you'll have a better GPA, which will open more doors as you get close to graduation for opportunities. Doesn't mean you should not be an engineer because you don't have the best academic record. I think engineering is still the best undergraduate degree you can have, even if it's not, even if you weren't the strongest student, because it does open a lot of doors. The problem solving, technical skills you're gaining in engineering is by far the best that you can obtain as part of your undergraduate degree. So it's really a good degree. So I would suggest you really try and stick with it if it's where your interests lie. Okay. All right, and then just in closing, I have a quick few tips here I want to share with you about your summer internship search. So some of you will be looking for summer internships. I'm in career services, so I just want to make sure that you have the basic tips to get your job search going as you're starting to think about summer 2021. That is applications. Set a target of applications 10 to 15 every week that you're trying to get out to employers. That's a lot. Some weeks you'll get 10, some weeks you'll get 5, but you should shoot for 10 to 15. Set aside time and find a good work environment. So go to a place that's free of distractions from roommates, housemates. Set aside a time Monday through Wednesday from 3 to 5 every day, you're going to commit to doing your job search, create a spreadsheet where you can track all of this information, the company you applied to, the date you applied, the contact person you have, all that sort of information, because as you do 10 to 15 every week, you're certainly going to start to lose track of all those applications. Certainly look into Handshake if you haven't already. You've got a Handshake account as a student at UW-Madison. That is the #1 resource out there for college students trying to find internships and full-time jobs. And I also recommend try and find a job search buddy. So this could be somebody in your same major or somebody in a different major where the two of you can work together to go out and find job openings around the country. If it's somebody in your major, there's a little bit of competition. You might apply for the same jobs, but maybe you have different geographic interests. So I can find opportunities for you in Colorado. You can find opportunities for me in Wisconsin that you run across. And so it's good to find somebody to partner with this in terms of finding places to apply, because it definitely widens the net of opportunities for you. So those are a couple of quick tips to keep in mind as you're starting to get your summer internship search. And don't worry if you don't get a summer internship this coming year. You have plenty of opportunities to get those down the road. But I just wanted to give you a few tips if you're thinking about looking for something for summer 2021. All right, so that is what I have for you today. Hopefully you found this information helpful. Certainly feel free to reach out to any member of the Engineering Career Services staff if you want to have any discussions about majors and major application to the workforce, because we are happy to share that information and have those discussions with you. All right. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. Appreciate it.